guys, today we are going to talk about whether it's a good idea to work with your partner. You know, your other half, the person you love the most, even when they're annoying as heck. I will be talking about the pros and the cons of doing it, and if you stick with me to the end of the video, I'll also share the best working with your partner tips I can possibly give you after everything I've learned from working with Mike for more years than I can remember. If you and your significant other are thinking of starting a business together, you know, partnering up for a special project, or if one of you is joining the other's business, this is the video you definitely need to watch. Let's start with the cons, shall we? The most obvious one being you will spend a lot of time together, possibly too much time together. You know, you share a home and now you're partnering it up for work, so odds are you're spending all your waking hours with that person, and that can easily get too much. Plus, there's no talking about your day because there's nothing to tell. They were right there. And if, like us, you are working from home or from a hotel room when you're traveling, it can get claustrophobic. Trust me, nowhere to hide. Next, and this is the one we all promise won't happen, but ends up happening anyway, which is it's hard to separate your work from your relationship. And if you're not careful, you will find yourself talking about work all the time, the relationship completely neglected. You know, the lines are just so easy to blur when you share a business or a professional project with your life partner, particularly if you're excited about it, as we were. But the biggest con, as far as I'm concerned, and the one we had the most trouble with, is that when you're working with your significant other, particularly if it's just the two of you, everything is more personal. And this means that the mistakes are harder to let go than if you were dealing with a co-worker. It's just easier to get into a blame game when things aren't going the way they're supposed to. And most importantly, resentment can easily grow between you because of it. You know, often at work, during a heated discussion, for example, you end up saying or hearing things you can accept from a co-worker or a boss, but that you would never be okay with if your partner said them. Well, as a co-worker or a boss, they may end up saying it, or you may say them, and odds are it will cause personal trouble between the both of you. Now, before we move on to our positives, let me just say that if you want to know more about being an entrepreneur, making money online, or just improving your life, you can subscribe to my channel and enjoy all the videos I've created for you. I publish new content twice a week, plus my inspirational shorts, which you can watch after this one. Okay, so now for the positives. Yes, the time you spend with your significant other is a lot, and that can be a bad thing, but it can also definitely be a great thing. Bear with me on this one, okay? You know, when Mike and I spend our days together working intensely, you know, doing boring things or overdoing it basically, it's too much. But when we spend our days doing something we both love, that we're excited about, it's wonderful. You know, spending all this time with your partner will allow you to know them better through the work you do together. Plus, what can possibly be sexier than watching your other half crushing it at work with all that awesomeness? Also, working together creates a common ground between the two of you, and it just brings you closer together, you know? You are both invested in the outcome, and it also means that all your successes are achieved together, and all the difficulties, all the hurdles are overcome by the both of you together. You are helping and supporting each other all along, and that's just so special when you're doing it with the person you love and trust most in the world. Next, something that may sound more trivial, but that is actually quite handy when you're trying to live your best life, which is working together. Owning a business with your partner means your time is your own. You get to coordinate free time for the both of you, you know, vacation, quality time together. You can schedule it all without having to ask anyone else. You know, it's very practical for all that traveling we love doing. Now, as promised, what you can do to enjoy the pros and sidestep the cons. The one and most important thing you can do while working with your significant other is learn to communicate. Communication is the single most important thing in this situation. You know, the words you speak, the way you give your opinion, your feedback can make the difference between closeness and resentment. So keep that in mind at all times. A part of that communication is to define some key elements, like defining each other's tasks and making a clear division between who does what without any room for misunderstandings that can create tension. Make it clear for the both of you when you're co-workers and when you're in a personal relationship. A great tip to help balance all that together time is to spend some time by yourself. You know, before being in a relationship and before being co-workers, you're individuals. So odds are you have separate interests, separate hobbies, and separate friends. So use your alone time for that. You know, it's the perfect way to take a breather, and your relationship and your business will both benefit from it. Here's another big one. You need to accept different working methods. And I have to say, this was a major one for Mike and I. You know, Mike is a planner. He makes lists, he organizes, he dots his I's and crosses his T's before moving ahead. Me? I'm a doer. I'm impulsive. I act on instinct, on trial and error. So let's just say that they are not the most compatible working methods out there. Do you know what helped though? Accepting that we're different and a tight definition of each other's tasks. That way, we're entirely responsible for our bits, and in a way, we are working separately, even though we are still working together. So we don't get on each other's nerves much. And while we're talking about separation, here's an obvious one we all swear we'll do but end up failing, which is maintain a clear separation between your work and your personal life. Let's put it this way: what happens at work stays at work. I know it's easier said than done, but ultimately, that's the price you pay for working with your partner. There will be a lot of times when you will disagree about work and things might get ugly. Well, you can't let it bleed into your relationship because these are two entirely separate things. Make no mistake, your priority in this should always be your relationship if you love your partner and want to have a future with them. Businesses come and go, and less dramatically can be tweaked and adjust to fit both your needs and settle all your arguments. Doing that also means making sure you both make time to spend quality, personal time together, that it's not all about business. That as soon as those work hours end, there is no business talk, that you are no longer co-workers. So, after all has been said and done, is it a good idea or a bad idea to work with your partner? Well, that kind of depends on your relationship and your ability to put these tips into good use. What I can tell you is, owning a business with your significant other can be so much more than just a way to make a living. It can be a life project, a foundation on which you can build your wonderful life together. Now, if you're still trying to decide if owning a business is for you, I have a video you will love about the signs to look out for that show that you're ready to do it. That's it for me today, and I will see you for my next video. Bye bye!